Sorry about that. Pulling up the game one more time. This game is barely held together, so let's get going. All right, so we have Powerpuff Girls, him and Seek. Sorry about that. I have with me my two commentators, Bean Jammin and Garvey the Glittress. Y'all want to introduce yourselves?
Hey, I'm Bean.
Hello, I'm Garvey the Glittress.
Awesome. And so this game is all about going on a scavenger hunt for your teacher. And it turns into flying around all of Townsville and battling every single villain you've heard of in the series. So let's get started with that. Give me 1 second to get my timer ready to go. All right, so let's get started in 3, 2, 1, and go.
Woo!
Alright, so the lore is that we're going on a scavenger hunt, and him actually, oh, that's the pause button, not the menu button, hijacked our scavenger hunt list, so to make us run all around Townsville and make everyone really upset. So first we're going to jump into Bubbles' individual level, and I'll let my commentators kind of explain how the beginning of this game goes.
Yeah, so just super normal kindergarten homework stuff. We have to go to the zoo and rescue all of the animals that have escaped. At the beginning of the game here, you play as each of the girls individually. So we're starting off with Bubbles here. You can see in the HUD in the upper right, you have the blue bar, which is Bubbles' health, and then the yellow bar is sort of like your mana. It dictates how long you can dash for, and then later when we get to combat, whether or not you can use your laser eyes or special moves. But we can't dash when holding the animals. So you see Flygon using it as much as possible, getting in between places because it is fast, and we are trying to do this fast.
Yeah, it's a really good time. So like the first three parts of this game, each of the girls have their own thing to do, and then they kind of join up at the end. So yeah, you see just Bubbles just casually throwing these animals around. You know, I'm just gonna pick up an elephant, pick up a lion. It was fitting we started off with bears after that last run.
Yeah, this is probably one of the better Powerpuff Girls games, yeah.
Absolutely agree.
There's certainly aspects of it that make it not a great game, but it is a pretty fun speed game, I gotta say.
Yeah, I would say, like, casually it doesn't make a lot of sense, but as a speed game, the movement is really fun, and the optimizations we found are really fun. And we also have recently discovered some out-of-bounds clips that you all will see soon, so, like, it's actually been a really fun speed game to develop and work on.
I do remember, like, in early routing of this game, I tried to make a map of, like, the overworld, and it's kind of a Mobius strip in terms of, like, the depth to it, but also it always goes in circles. Gave up on that pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So after rescuing the largest meerkat in the world, we've rounded up all the animals, and we'll go tell the zookeeper, and he said, oh, hey, by the way, Fuzzy released them all, and so we're gonna punch Fuzzy real bad and steal his banjo.
Yeah, we just left the enclosures open, so, like, the animals could really just walk out at any time, but, like, our job's done. I got my banjo. I'm out of here. Alright, now we have the Blossom individual level, which just entails picking up all the kids' toys and beating up the Green Gang. So we have to kind of alternate using our magic for fighting and for traveling. So there's the laser attack, which uses about a quarter of your bar, and then each girl has 2 special attacks that require half of your bar. So it's really a balance of when do I want to dash, when do I want to use my special moves.
Yeah, there's also, I don't know if they're any in this level, but in some levels they have like power-ups that refill all of your like stamina, so that you can also factor those in.
Yep.
Yeah, I think you'll see your first pickups here. There's a heart there that Flygon didn't need, but she'll pick up those 3 yellow stars, which fully refill your magic.
Yep. We found all the toys, and we're gonna find our favorite Powerpuff Girls imposter princess. She is really annoying because she can fly across the screen and away from you. So you want her to fly around as little as possible, but of course she's gonna just keep flying. Okay.
Oh man.
She's just all right, and now we have Buttercup, who is the slowest Powerpuff Girl by far.
So slow.
And you have to collect all 10 gems. So important to mention is that there is absolutely no RNG in this game. All 10 of the gems are in the same enemies every time. So it's all about consistency, really, and balancing your health and your magic. So we only fight the bad guys that we need to. And we're also going to utilize a death work coming up very soon. I can have Bean and Garby explain how that works.
Well, yeah, so when you die, you like start from where you were. You like start from a place. You still keep the jewels you got, so you'll want to do that because you'll start from closer to the start of the level, which is where you want to go back to.
Exactly, especially because like Buttercup flies so heckin' slow. We want to fly as little as possible. So I'm purposefully taking damage here. So once I grab this 10th gem, gonna get hit by this bat and restart.
Yeah, that was a pretty efficient death warp.
Yeah, it's nerve-wracking because if you take too much damage, you lose. You basically need to reset. So it's kind of scary.
So we got the plush dinosaur from the museum guard, give the mayor his poodle back, and now we can play as all 3 of the Powerpuff Girls, which means we play as Bubbles the whole time because she is fast.
Literally. We utilize Bubbles to fly around, and we pretty much utilize Buttercup to fight because Buttercup has the only ranged special attack. So I need to remember to not do the 100% route and just go to Tokyo Townsville. And so now that we have all 3 girls, you can swap between them at any time by pressing the L button, as you see. So I'm switching to use up Blossom's magic, and then I'm going to swap back to Bubbles as soon as possible. I did not mean to use that, but it was fast. That was the
special. Yeah, that was the special move. It requires your full bar of magic and all 3 girls to be alive.
Yeah.
But we'll utilize that later to do some of the final bosses in 0 seconds.
Yeah, it's extremely fast. I feel like I might have missed an enemy, but hopefully I didn't.
You're probably fine.
I'm probably okay. So yeah, in this level I always go clockwise because there are some enemies in the air and some enemies on the ground, and it's just efficient because you have to get back to the start at the end of it. These enemies have different amounts of health. The purple enemies and the really buff dude right there, they have the most health out of any of the enemies. So I want to try and save my special attacks for them. But a lot of these enemies have pickups in them, and so it's important to realize, oh, I have full magic, let me use my magic, stuff like that. Okay, I defeated all the monsters.
Nice. Great. So after doing that and fighting the most frustrating boss of the game, where the hitboxes are individual in the eyes, and also the only way to hit him is to be inside of his hitbox of the spikes around him.
Yeah, it's very weird.
It's pretty
not a good boss, honestly.
The rest of them are pretty fine, actually, but this one was just not too thought out.
Yeah, and that boss also, like, the special attack doesn't really seem to work well in my experience.
No, it doesn't. It's super weird.
Yeah, the big one, the big laser with all 3 girls, does not hit it at all.
Oh.
Yeah, we've experimented with it, and it does not work. So it's low and slow. That's why I switched to Buttercup and Blossom, because I want to save Bubbles' health as much as possible, because she's our MVP of this run.
So now we're just doing the same thing, but in dark mode.
Yep, dark mode is 2 rooms.
It's 2 rooms.
Exactly.
I'm just punching all of the monsters that just hang out and terrorize Townsville, I guess.
Yup.
But then we get to my favorite part of the game, which is objectively what makes it the worst. Like, this is the part of the game that is the worst, but it is my favorite.
Yes.
Of a rhythm game that does not line up with the music whatsoever.
Yeah, I mean, we're battling against the boogeyman, so obviously it's time to disco. So we'll see the disco very soon. Get your dancing and jam emotes in the chat ready. Not yet.
Yes.
Not yet, but get ready. It's incredible. Yeah, the anticipation's building. I have only a few more enemies to hit here. Gotta get this buff guy, and then it's time for disco time.
All right. Password.
Here we go. It's time. It's time to jam, everyone.
Let's go.
So, this does not go along with the music. It makes no sense. It is very slow. This is a glorified auto-scroller.
It's pretty impossible to lose this minigame, too. There's like 5 tiers of like accuracy, and you need to have at least half of them be in the top 3 tiers in order to move on. But you do have to do 3 rounds of it regardless.
Yep. You don't even have to get the high score. The boogeyman's like not even dancing. Like he's just like this is not a dance off. You're not doing anything. The only tech we do is that we miss the last thing, so you don't count your multiplier at the end and you mash A in between. That's really it. Like I even have enough time to put my own jam emotes in chat. Like yeah, and they just like the girls stare at you. It's a lot.
Yeah. And yeah, it's also meant there's like another game for GBA called like No Rules Get Fat. That's a big part of this. That like, and that also has similar things to this. So I guess that was just kind of a thing for the GBA.
Yeah, yeah.
It definitely came out in the era of like DDR becoming really popular, but the hardware just can't support video and audio syncing up like that.
Right.
But that didn't stop them from trying to put this game in here.
Yeah, it's not a dance off. He's just looking at you dancing and going, okay, that was pretty good. I guess I'll give you my dance shoes. And you're like, okay.
But yeah, we're getting close to the end of this, I think. End of this mini games, end of these hot jams, so I'm sorry. I know it's so jammy.
I know.
I do have to say though, I've never looked at his quote unquote dance animation too fast, but his arm is just like elongating and going back in the top half, and it doesn't sit on his hip. I don't know what's going on over there.
I do not. I mean, their synchronization is pretty good. You gotta be impressed.
Yeah, they woke up early and they were ready to synchronize dance.
Oops, I did not want to go back.
They deserve their shoes.
We do not play pinball in this category, and thank goodness. All right, so now we're headed off to the jail. Mojo Jojo has let out all of the prisoners, and so we have to free up the guards. It's a necessary evil of the game, but here we go. You basically just have to fly into the ropes, and the guards are in specific cells, so I have it written down in my splits. And this section also has heavy lag. So it's not you. The game is lagging.
Yeah.
I think the game assumes that you're going to like punch all the inmates so that there's less assets on screen as you go, but we don't. We just fly right past them.
Yeah, we don't have to fight anyone here. Okay, Bubbles' health is not great. Just gonna be aware of that. Losing Bubbles is the biggest time loss you can have in this game, so we don't want to. Fuck! Oops, I'm so sorry. So speaking of biggest time loss, yay!
So one of those cells, you're supposed to exit from the other one, but one time like I had it where like I exited from the same cell I was originally in, and the game crashed. So I'm not sure if that always happens, but I think that is how it is.
This is so slow. This was a pretty good run until that happened, but all right, here we go. This is an amazing section of the game. We've got Mojo Jojo Frogger. So here we are. This is actually an amazing section of the game to route and play. It's very tricky. Mojo Jojo's hitbox is not good, and there are 3 distinct sections. It's really fun. I love this game. Like, yeah, like he's on an entire submarine and he's huge. Like the scaling on this. Oh no! Oh, that was tough.
Oh.
Yeah, this game can be really rude.
Yeah, the water section is tough because the submarines like go underwater. And so you have to route it out based on when they are going to be underwater and not underwater. So, okay. This is looking pretty good. This is looking pretty good.
Yeah, it should be good.
Okay.
I gotta say that the car section is definitely the toughest for me.
Oh,
because
yeah.
the cars move at inconsistent rates. And when you move, your hitbox takes over like both squares simultaneously.
Yep, like it just did there.
Yeah, so like...
My hitbox was in both the top and the lower section, so I get hit there very frequently. I would say I died once in this game on average. There we go.
Alright, we're out.
Yeah.
Not the best, but we're here.
Yeah, later we can like get some chemical X to restore bubbles. I think enemies can drop it, but it's a little hard to get.
Yeah. It's alright.
We'll end up having to go through Observatory without it, because we're not going to do Observatory properly. We're going to just clip straight through it and skip all of the key cards that we're supposed to be finding throughout all of here.
Yeah, so we like to call this the Observatory because you just clip all the way through it. And we discovered this on the third screen, and then we found out you can do it at every corner as long as you know how to do it correctly. You basically just squeeze in between the corner. So this allows us to skip 2 of the 4 pass keys, which is really fast.
Yeah,
I found this like hours before teaching this game to Garby too.
Yes, this was hilariously, I was practicing this game to teach it to Garby, and then we found these clips and made them game viable. We started out with, you wanted to get to the boss door, and so there's a purple door and a purple key at the top of this room, and we were like, that would be really fast. And then we routed it through all 3 screens.
Yeah, well, you taught this game to a glitcherist, so that's not surprising.
Yes.
Yes.
Didn't you find this in like your first play, Garby? Like it just happened?
I accidentally did it, but I wasn't sure how to get out, so I thought I like soft locked.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we figured out how to get in and out of the walls. And the good thing is this was the worst part of the run. So now it makes the run a lot more consistent and fun too, because you used to have to, you know, go through the maze of this run. And now it's way more great. So here we are.
Yeah.
With the Mojo Jojo boss fight. This was made easier with all 3 girls, but it's not a huge deal that I don't have them, honestly. I'm just gonna play this a little safe. Okay. Because all the girls' health is not great at the moment. But that's okay. This last phase Mojo Jojo is not bad. Here we go.
Pew pew pew.
Almost done. Here we go. All right, great.
All right.
Yay.
Steal his cape for being a jerk.
Yeah, so even though I don't have bubbles, and that means I go pretty slow, I still saved about 20 seconds because those clips were really fast.
Yeah, those went really well.
Yeah, the clips went good. This next section is going to be pretty scary because both of my girls are at low health, but I believe in myself. Everything's going to be fine.
Yeah, and we're not losing so much time because the next section is also a very long auto-scroller.
Yep.
So it doesn't really matter who you're playing as once we get there.
Exactly. So we are now going to Him's Lair, the titular him and seek. So I pretty much just got to survive this first screen, and then there's a few different places with health. There also is there's a chemical X here, so we're gonna be fine. We're not gonna be fine. Okay.
Yeah.
Want just take the death warp here? You're so close to the beginning.
Yeah, that's a good idea. So I'm just gonna reset because that's gonna give me all 3 girls back at full health. Good call. A little bit of a time loss, but not too bad. I need all 3 girls. That's gonna save me a lot of time in the him boss fight. So good call on that, Bean. All right, we just stay low to the ground for this first room. So yeah, the hard part of this is that you have to avoid both the fireballs and the craters. And again, the hitbox in this game are tragic. So yeah, we can just punch the fire. You also can laser the fire, which I'll show you. Lasering the fire is more consistent, but we need all 3 girls at max magic, so we don't want to do that often. So I typically just try and punch and avoid. The timing on it is really tough. So there's 3 screens. The first screen you stay towards the bottom, second screen you stay towards the top, and then the third screen is madness.
Third screen you go to the rubber ducky, and then... Yeah,
we find the rubber ducky, and then you're good. So this screen was really confusing to me as a kid. I remember getting really frustrated. But now, like, I've played it a good amount of times, gotten fairly consistent with the route.
Yeah, one thing you need to watch for is that the hitboxes of like the walls and stuff, they're slightly bigger than they like appear, it seems, so it's easy to get smushed accidentally.
Yes, and if you get smushed by a wall, not only does your girl your lead girl dies completely, you have to restart the entire screen. So it's really punishing. Oh, there's my cat. Hey, Sirius.
Meow.
Let's get some cat emotes in the chat for Sirius. He's saying hello this morning. He is a good kitty. He loves the speed runs.
Sirius doesn't have thumbs to be able to type, so it's got to get his hype out a different way.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, here he goes again. Oh no.
Alright, well, here we go. Grabbing the rubber ducky.
Yes, the rubber ducky is required at 100%, and you're not allowed to come back here, so it's actually very imperative that you grab it, so I always grab it.
Yeah.
So I guess I'll start and try to explain the him fight now, because it's going to be over so fast.
Yeah.
So him has 2 phases, one which he's a giant head, and for the longest time we thought no matter what you did, if you used laser eyes or special move or a punch, it dealt the same amount of damage, and then once he's at 50% health, he goes into a phase 2, but the large laser that requires all 3 girls still only deals about 1/4 of a bar of health, but if you do that twice, it hits him while he transitions the second time and totally kills him in 2 hits.
Yep.
Here. So we'll get 1, and then
it hits him on
2
both
for double damage.
Yeah.
And that's it. Yeah. That's the whole final boss.
Extremely fast. Hot new strats found when I was riding 100%. So that saves us a lot of time, because typically phase 1 takes a lot longer than that. All right, and then this is the final segment of the game. Garby discovered a nice cutscene skip, so it's going to be over really soon. And time.
Yay!
Nice.
Woo!
GG.
Under 21 minutes or under 22 minutes in a marathon run is really good. I'm super happy with that time. Thank you so much, Garby and Bean, for being there and commentating with me. I absolutely loved routing this game. Happy we have now a community of like 4 strong. And if you're ever interested in learning this game, it's really fun. I'm going on a mission next to learn all 3 Game Boy Color Powerpuff Girl games, so maybe y'all will see me next marathon for some more bad Powerpuff Girl game action.
Yeah.
Thanks again, Big Bad Game-a-thon, for having me showcase this wonderful, wonderful game and that epic dance minigame.
Yeah, thank you.
Yay!